There was once a village, and this village had a tradition where every 4 years the full silver moon rose high into the sky, ripe and round, and it was said that if the arrow of a warrior were to pierce it, then it would shower blessings and glory on the inhabitants of that small place. The time came and the warriors were selected, one for his compassion and generous soul as well as his skill. The second, who used his platform to shout out against injustice, and his skill as a warrior was known throughout the world. The third was young, but he was passionate, full of life, full of determination and confidence, and the chief knew that this one had the potential to be a true hero. The warriors climbed the mountain. They sat at the peak and they watched as that moon sparkled and shimmered, glittered and glowed, casting its light across the valley. The first warrior stood. He took his bow and his arrow, he aimed and he fired. But the arrow did not hit the mark, and the warrior's heart was crushed. The second warrior stood. He took his bow and his arrow, he aimed and he released, and the arrow flew through the skies, but it too failed to pierce the moon. The warrior fell to the ground, his heart broken. The expectations, the hopes and dreams of the entire village now lay firmly and heavily on the shoulders of the youngest warrior. He stood firm. He looked down the valley and he saw the shining eyes of the children watching him. He listened, but there was no sound to be heard, for they were all holding their breath. He took his bow and his arrow. He aimed. The aim was true. It fired through the skies, but just before it pierced the moon, a star shot in front of it, and it failed to pierce. The young warrior burst into floods of tears. He felt that he had betrayed everyone and everything that he knew. The three warriors were broken as they slowly started to make their way down the mountain. And no matter how much comfort they received, no matter how much the chief tried to console them, their hearts were weak. And along the way, there was a small group, a band of people whose hearts were small, tight, withered, filled with fear and hate. They hurled abuse at the young warriors. They threw stones at the young warriors. They scratched and shouted all manner of words. They flung curses. Their words and hearts were wicked beyond belief, and the words were designed to hurt and wound. And the young warriors, they returned to their village, and the chief summoned them and said, "Thank you for showing us who we are. You three, you stood up. You faced the challenge. You did your best, but the moon will always rise again. But you are an inspiration to thousands and thousands of children who now aspire to be just like you. Hold your heads up high, and no matter how much disappointment, no matter how you feel at this moment, remember that you will learn to love the world again." The three warriors went home, and when each one of them was ready, they picked up their bow and their arrow, and they headed out because they knew exactly what they had to do. This story was created to celebrate the incredible achievements of Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, and Bukayo Saka, who performed magnificently throughout the entire tournament. Despite the horrific racism that they received, they carried themselves with grace, with dignity, and they are admired, they are much loved and respected, a complete inspiration for so many millions of people. The moon will definitely rise again. My name is Mara, I'm a storyteller, and this is my gift to you.